He told me he wasn't afraid of needles. He said it the way people always say it. Chin up, arms crossed, voice just a half step too confident. Like, if he said it loud enough, his nervous system might actually believe him. I've heard that line so many times, I could set it to music. And every single time, without fail, the person saying it is the one who needs the most reassurance. His name was Marcus. He was sitting on the edge of the exam table in my friend Dana's spare bedroom, because that's where I was that evening, making a house call that wasn't exactly official, but also wasn't exactly not. Dana had called me in a mild panic around 9 at night, saying her boyfriend had a prescription for an intramuscular injection. The pharmacy had filled it, but the urgent care clinic had a 2-hour wait, and could I please just come over? I said yes. I always say yes. It's a character flaw I've made peace with. So there I was, standing in Dana's guest room, which smelled like lavender candles and clean laundry, with my little kit bag on the nightstand, and Marcus looking at me like I was either going to save his life or end it. He was tall, the kind of tall where sitting on a low exam table makes him look slightly absurd. Knees at an odd angle, hands folded in his lap like a schoolboy. He had kind eyes though, the nervous kind, the kind that are watching you very carefully, measuring how calm you are, deciding whether to trust you based entirely on the steadiness of your hands. I pulled on my gloves, that familiar snap of nitrile, and I noticed his shoulders flinch at the sound. Just slightly, just enough. So, I said, keeping my voice easy, almost conversational. What's the medication for? He told me. A vitamin B12 injection, prescribed for a deficiency his doctor had caught on routine blood work. Nothing dramatic, nothing dangerous, just a shot that needed to go into muscle, not vein, and needed someone who knew what they were doing to do it. Okay, I said. That's one of the more forgiving ones. Intramuscular, into the deltoid or the glute. We'll go deltoid tonight since you're sitting up, and I can see what I'm working with. He blinked. The deltoid is the shoulder? The shoulder, exactly. Upper, outer part of the arm. I touched my own arm to show him, just above where the sleeve would end. There's a nice, thick muscle there. Good blood supply, absorbs medication well. It's actually one of the more comfortable sites when it's done right. When it's done right, he repeated, with this look that was trying very hard to be a joke. I smiled. I've done it right before, once or twice. That got a small laugh out of him. Good. Laughter relaxes the muscle. This is not a metaphor. It's actual physiology. A tense muscle hurts more during injection because the needle has to push through resistance. A relaxed muscle accepts the needle almost without complaint. So when I make someone laugh or talk or focus on something other than the syringe in my hand, I'm not being charming. I'm being clinical. Mostly. I had him roll up his sleeve, his left arm. The muscle there was warm under my gloved fingertips when I palpated it. I was feeling for the landmarks, the way I always do, even when I know exactly where to go. There's a triangle you learn to find. The lower edge of the acromion, which is that bony ridge at the top of the shoulder, and then you drop straight down about 2 or 3 finger widths. That's your target zone, right in the belly of the deltoid. Thick enough to hold a full milliliter comfortably, maybe 1.5 milliliters if you're careful. I cleaned the site with an alcohol swab. The smell of it is so specific, so medical, so instantly recognizable that I've come to associate it with a kind of focused calm. Like the scent of it says, pay attention now, be precise now, this matters. I let the alcohol dry. This part people always skip, and they shouldn't. Wet alcohol on the skin can sting when the needle goes in, and it can also interfere with the sight. 20 seconds, that's all it takes. 20 seconds of patience that makes the whole thing gentler. Marcus was very quiet. I could feel him trying not to look at the syringe. "You can look away if you want," I said. "Or you can watch." Some people find watching actually helps, takes the unknown out of it. "I'll look away," he said immediately. Smart choice for tonight. I uncapped the needle. 23 gauge, 1 inch. Standard for deltoid intramuscular in an average build adult. Long enough to clear the subcutaneous fat and reach the muscle. Not so long that you're going anywhere you don't want to go. I held the syringe the way I always do, between my index finger and middle finger, thumb on the plunger, the whole thing steady and controlled. The angle matters enormously here. You want 90 degrees. Straight in, perpendicular to the skin. Not angled, not hesitant. Hesitation is what causes pain. A slow, uncertain needle drags through tissue. A confident, smooth entry at the right angle, most people barely feel it. "Take a slow breath in," I said. He did. And out. And as he exhaled, that moment when the body softens just slightly, I inserted the needle. Smooth, clean, one motion. He made a small sound, not pain exactly. More like surprise that it wasn't pain. "That's it," he said. "That's it. I'm going to push the plunger now. You might feel a little pressure, maybe some warmth. That's normal. That's just the medication going in." I depressed the plunger slowly. Intramuscular injections should never be rushed. Too fast and you get that deep, aching pressure that lingers for days. Slow and steady, the muscle absorbs it, and the discomfort stays minimal. I counted in my head. 1 full milliliter over about 10 seconds. Then I withdrew the needle, same angle, same steadiness, and pressed a clean cotton ball to the site. Not rubbing, just gentle, firm pressure. "Done," I said. He turned to look at his arm like he expected to see something dramatic. There was nothing, just a tiny dot of pink where the needle had been, already fading. "Huh," he said. "Huh," I agreed. Dana appeared in the doorway with 2 cups of tea, because Dana is the kind of person who makes tea for every occasion, and I love her for it. She looked at Marcus, then at me, then back at Marcus. "You okay?" "She's terrifyingly good at that," he said. I pulled off my gloves and dropped them in the small waste bag I always bring. "You should know," I said, capping everything and organizing my kit, "that for the next day or 2, that spot might be a little sore. That's normal. Your muscle is just processing the medication. If it gets red, warm to the touch, or swells significantly, call your doctor. That would be unusual, but worth knowing." He nodded, rolling his sleeve back down. "Also," I added, because I couldn't help it, "your B12 deficiency. Your doctor probably mentioned this, but it can cause fatigue, brain fog, sometimes tingling in the hands or feet. If you've been feeling any of that, you might start noticing improvement within a week or 2 of starting the injections, sometimes sooner. It's one of those things where people say they didn't realize how tired they were until they weren't anymore." He looked at me with that expression I've seen before. The one where someone realizes that the thing they thought was just life, just getting older, just stress, was actually something fixable. Something that had a name and a solution, and a small needle that took less than 30 seconds. "I have been really tired," he said quietly. "I know," I said. "You'll feel better." I accepted the tea from Dana. We sat in the guest room for a few minutes, the 3 of us, the lavender candles, the quiet of a late evening. And Marcus asked me how I learned to do this, and I told him a little about school, about the first time I ever gave an injection and how my hands shook so badly my instructor had to put her hand over mine. About how the steadiness comes not from confidence exactly, but from repetition. From doing it enough times that your body knows what to do even when your mind is still catching up. He listened the way good patients listen, carefully, like what I was saying mattered. When I left, I stood for a moment in the doorway of Dana's apartment, the cool night air coming in from the hallway, my bag on my shoulder. "Thank you," Marcus said from the couch. I smiled. "Get some sleep. The B12 works better when you do." And I meant it, every word. Because that's the thing about this work that nobody tells you. The needle is the smallest part. The rest of it is just being present with someone in the moment they need you. That's the part that stays with you. That's the part I keep coming back to. The needle goes in, the medication goes in, and something, trust maybe, or relief, goes both ways.